Hey, what's up, everyone? Coach Link here from Missing Link Fitness LLC, and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in, if you're tuning in. And I want to give a little background about myself. I've been 35 plus years involved in the health and fitness, I would say industry, but no, I'm talking about health and fitness of my own personal journey. I started working out when I was 13 years old. All right, and now I'm like 51. So when I first started out, I was kind of probably a country bumpkin. You can hear it in the accent. But I come from a time we lived out in the country, and the biggest thing was like hunting and fishing and things, in which I did partake in some of those things as kids, growing up, and also being out in the country like that. We didn't have health, having gyms and stuff on every corner. It was, we didn't even have trainers, that kind of thing. If you had anything, it was a trainer, it was all related to sporting events, like the medical like trainers, so to speak, but it was not a very popular thing. So a lot of it, and before the internet, it was a lot of trial and error and things I had to learn on my own, so it was like books, fitness magazines I'd buy from the store. It was also books from the library, books, that I could purchase. And that's how I started doing it. And again, trial and error. What got me started in it was when I first seen Arnold Schwarzenegger when he come out in Terminator. This was 1984. So I was just now turning 13 years old when I seen that movie. And when Arnold came onto the scene, it was the most impressive thing, for that, guy coming on there. And I said, man, it was like, I want to be just like that guy. It was like, so he was so impressive. So I started working out. Well, what I had to work out with, I was actually using gallon jugs I filled with water just to kind of get my start, and actually I was just being able to do curls, and things to start out with. And again, when I started getting into fitness magazines, I started seeing, different programming, different routines and things like that, and seeing what these guys were doing. Well, from there, actually, when I got started too, my parents bought me a weight set. It was actually a universal system, and it was a DP1000. And man, this thing was like the greatest thing. You could do all kinds of stuff with it. And then I started buying like the free weights, and this was all concrete weights. Again, it was like DP. I would do like summer, little odd jobs where I'd get a little money, and I would go to like Walmart and I would purchase. They'd have them for like $20. It was like $21 a box for a 120-pound set. You get two dumbbell bars and a full length bar with the locks, and had the wrench it came with it. And so I started that. So every like week or something that I had money, I would buy more of these, and I would go to yard sales. And if I'd seen, people just giving away almost just to get rid of them, weight benches, and also weight sets. And some of them I found even iron weight sets and stuff. Some of them even given to me because, those people just didn't use them. So anyway, what I did was, when I got all that together, so instead of being able to, changing a lot of weights and stuff, adjusting and things like that, I tried to set up like a dumbbell rack, as you would see now in gyms, the barbells and things like that, so I could go right into a workout and had a little downtime in changing the plates around a lot. So that's kind of me in a nutshell right there. So, and eventually I got into, wanting to try my hand at doing a competition, a bodybuilding competition. So I started at 13 years old. So by the time I hit 16, I entered it was a bodybuilding contest. And that's where actually out of 28 contestants on that day, I got fourth place. So I was pretty proud of that, for my first time out. So I did go watch a couple of shows before I got into trying to do a competition. I wanted to see what it was like, basically what I was up against, how it all comes together, using like, I was familiar with, like posing routines and using music. Now that I learned from Pumping Iron, watching Pumping Iron. So I learned a lot from that. And so I just started putting it all together. So from there on, I started doing more competitions. And so up until like my early 20s. So, and then about the time I hit 22 or something, it was like I stayed working out, but then I just got away from competition, altogether. And then I came back into it into my 40s. So I wanted to see if I had a little something left. So I entered the Masters division. I was at 43 years old. I got third place out of all them years. I was pretty content and happy with that. I was not planning on actually even competing anymore after that, but I still am now. But anyway, I wound up getting 15 titles so far out of that. always ranging from the first, the fifth in the top five and stuff. And so I'm still active with it today, and got one coming up. But what I wanted to do was also get into personal training. I had, I would give tips and stuff to people. They would come up and talk to me about it, like in the gym and things like that. And this is again before internet really got going, and then having, YouTube channels and even podcasts and things like that. So I'd give advice, to, just generally help people out. It could be kids, it could be grown men, women, stuff like that. Whoever was interested. Also, I would do it with, like supplementation. So I said, well, maybe there's something to this, because I would have some people ask me like, hey, you ever thought about doing, being a personal trainer? And at the time I was like, no, not really, never thought about it, uh, but I started when I did start training, but I was training like privately for like some people and stuff like that. So, and the reason I say privately too is because I wasn't certified, so I would not advertise myself publicly, just for legality, legal purposes and stuff. So anyway, I wound up getting my certification actually, and I got it in 2015. So as a personal trainer, so I actually did start doing personal training. I was working with a big box gym, and I wound up my next certification I got in nutrition specialist, because I noticed there was a lot of trainers out there, but I also would listen to some clients, not just of my own, but clients from other people. A lot more was really wanting to know about nutritional needs. Okay. So again, you had a lot of trainers and stuff, but the nutritional was a thing that concerned them a lot. So, I studied, even then, I was studying on my own for like nutrition for like, bodybuilding and stuff like that. And, but I also would look at it as overall health. I wouldn't look at it just in bodybuilding itself, but, also like weight loss and stuff, and just in general, better overall health, quality of life, long term, a full lifetime. So, and I was always interested in studying like nutrition, like the science behind it. So then I got my certification as a nutrition specialist, and then I started giving. Actually, I'd done, started doing meal plans too. So I helped a lot of people, and again, of like, different ages, different backgrounds, whatever, different goals and stuff. But I'll try to teach, people in general to eat healthy. They can take care of themselves, and get away from the processed food things, what we got going on today. And I can get more into that. Also, when I started training, I was thinking, okay, I'm certified now, as a trainer. I'm going to be like training bodybuilders and powerlifters and things like that. That's kind of what I thought about. That's probably be what would seek me out, so to speak. But honestly, 90% of my clientele became most, like rehabilitative, so to speak. So, and what I mean is I was training, working with post heart attacks, strokes. I was also working with, nutritionally, and also working out with diabetics, Parkinson's disease, and also expecting mothers, and car accidents, rehabilitative there too. So that was very challenging, but yet very rewarding, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I learned a lot more, even, of myself and how to apply it. So I noticed when I started doing training, and then I kind of moved around a little bit to like some different gyms, and I got where I was doing before I moved, I was contracting and out of a gym. So that's where I was working with some rehabilitative and stuff there as well. So then when I moved, I came to Florida, and so I took on another job as a quality control. I was doing a quality engineering job, just a long story short for a lot of it. And I was actually working with a company that was a precision machining company, where we would produce engine parts for the F-35s, the Predator drones, the F-15s, and also some medical, things as well. But I always had a love for fitness, loved training and stuff. So I was actually doing that even part-time to keep my practice, keep my skills going. And I learned this too, because when I actually started with another gym after, doing it part-time, when I was, again, most of my clientele it was rehabilitative, a lot of it. So I had very few where I was training somebody for like, bodybuilding, and also trained pre-entry servicemen like Marines. I was working with kids, under 20s, entering the Marine Corps. Some had to make weight, some had to cut weight. I loved that. That was so much fun there. But I was very proud of these guys when they got in. Seeing them stay with it, and even some of them re-enlisted. One got first sergeant. I mean, I'm very proud. That kid was so focused and it was so determined. So like when he went in, it was actually easy to train. He was just so focused. He was gonna be successful in this. But again, so I'm working at this gym, and I started again. I was getting, well, I even told them that. So you can send people my way. I also work rehabilitative, so that still became most of my clientele, even after the fact. Because other trainers there, I don't know if they were, just unskilled, so to speak. And it's not a knock on their character. It's actually just, were they afraid? So they didn't want to work, so to speak. And I don't mean in a bad way. I just think sometimes some people's just nervous about it, or they can be afraid, and afraid they won't train them right or take care of them. So I just said, send them all my way. I'll take care of them. So I had all kinds of different backgrounds for rehabilitative and stuff. I mean, and whatever it is, I took the time I just didn't give them a program. I would actually collect their information. I could speak with them, and get pretty much an idea, what they were looking for and stuff. So I'd ask them quick questions, what's going on, are they, like taking any medications? If I'm working with them, also supplemental, also dietary, kinds of things. And so it's almost like a park. We had to fill out a PAR-Q. So like when you go to a doctor's office, they give you, 3 to 5 pages of stuff, with a history you got to fill out. Well, the PAR-Q does the same thing when it comes into personal training. So, but anyway, I've just been doing it long enough. I could just hear people and they could tell me and I could put something together. And I try to make it, quick, fast, and in a hurry, getting their information. And when I would ask them about any kind of medications, I didn't want them to feel awkward or uncomfortable either, because sometimes you can get really personal when you ask them people about anything that's going on, like medications or it might be something they're kind of, embarrassed about. I don't want them to give me that information. I just give me enough. This way, I can let them know, because if they know about the medication, or if I research the medication, sometimes it can hinder, say, if they gain weight, their weight loss. So this way, I can let them know right up front, so I don't want them to be discouraged. So what I try to do is work it through exercise and work it through nutritional needs, and also over-the-counter supplementation if all possible. Now, when I would even do that, I'd also have, if I put something together for them, I would tell them to run it by their doctor. So I did work kind of hand in hand with some doctors, and that was a big help. Also, the expecting mothers, especially, I did that with them. So anything, if I worked little nutritional needs and things and then working out, I would give my clients some information. They would go, to their doctor and talk with them. So it worked out really well. So I think the doctor really appreciated the fact that I just didn't throw something in there and try to go over their head, and which I wouldn't do. And we kind of worked good together. So I had a great client base. Love my clients. All of them, any one of them I've ever been to in the gyms. And some of the gyms I've even moved around again, like some of my clients from the past, miss them a lot. But they were great, clients. And clients become, good friends as well. I've even worked with clients up to a point that's made so much progress that I got to the end, to the point where sometimes, I'd say, hey, I basically gave you everything I know to teach you, that you can pretty much go off on your own. And, with that being said, it's like, I don't want to lose your business, but at the same time, I don't, want you to think I'm just taking advantage of you either. But, a lot of those clients still stuck around. A lot of those clients would still pay me to train them because they love the accountability, And sometimes, as being a trainer, I've also learned this. It's not just, in accountability. I have people, like I said, with different goals and backgrounds. There's times where, I would train people that needed somebody to talk to. So sometimes I was a therapist, not just like a physical therapist, so to speak. I was an exercise therapist. I'm certified in that as well. Um, but I'd have, you basically, I'd always say, okay, I'm like their therapist, their trainer, their therapist, their, the bartender, whatever. A lot of times you'd be there, they like paying you to have somebody to talk to, so listen to their pain. Sometimes they really appreciate that. They will pay you sometimes just so they can come talk to you, because sometimes people are so busy. Sometimes they probably spend a lot of a lonely life sometimes, and they got their trainer that they confide in, really. And that's a great thing too. I mean, you feel really appreciative about it, because you first, when you're a young new trainer coming out, you're kind of worried that this person's here to make goals, and I feel like if I'm not training them right, I'm going to lose them, kind of thing. But you'd be surprised. And I know of other trainers have been really well and had clients for 2, 5, even upwards of 10 years training the same person. And the person, I mean, they pretty much know everything, but they love having that person because it's like their getaway, so they can come talk to you. So you gotta learn those things. It's a personality approach, not just your training skills, but how you communicate and also how you connect with people. And everybody trains differently. Some of them you can go full on hardcore, and some of them you got to be gentle with. When they're coming in at their first learning, some of them might, just be brand new starting out and they want to make a change. Some of them may have experience and been 10 years or a few years less out of the game, but trying to get back into it. And the way I approach them is I kind of learn them a little bit. So I start working them and get them, a little bit going. And sometimes just that little bit I give them, they're kind of sore. So I start them out a little easy, and I start getting more progressive with them. As long as they stay consistent stuff, and they'll make that change, and they're feeling great. Okay. And also along the way, I try to teach them, to make this a life thing, a way of life is in fitness. Sometimes there's people, when we were younger, we started out and we were very physical in a lot of things, but even sports maybe. And then we get in adulthood, more responsibilities come on, and then we kind of just get away from it. Sometimes we don't mean to. It just happens. We just don't think about it as much. And then, it's like getting into the working world. We start working a lot, getting more involved in working families, whatever, and stuff. And then we just kind of get away from that. And our health kind of deteriorates a little bit over time, or start gaining weight and things like that. Like I said, it just happened without you even thinking about it. Next thing you know, you wake up one day and it's like, man, okay. You start recognizing, and you're like, hey, I gotta get myself back in shape. So sometimes some can know, but sometimes some will get a trainer even to get a kickstart. I've even worked with some. I felt like when they came to me, didn't need a trainer because they was already looking in shape. But some of them like that accountability thing. They just like having a coach, So hey, work with them, and stuff. They love it, and that's what they're there for. A lot of you see a lot of training that's out there now too, that they advertise in a destination, and that's how they pitch it. That's how they make sales, and they get you to buy training packages. And I mean, destination means like, okay, I got 6 months, 8 months, whatever, for a wedding that's coming up, or a beach body, a pool party, whatever, birthday, something, and so they'll work out hard because they want to, or class reunion. So they'll, go to them. They want, all their old classmates and things like that. And people hadn't seen them, and I go, oh wow, they want to come in there and impress them. But I always like this. Okay, so if you hit that goal, then what? You go back to old habits. You go back to just letting it all hang out. What? Why not stay? Make this not just a destination, but make it a way of life. Take care of your health, functional fitness and stuff as we age. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what we're meant to be. And I mean, having independency, well, like as you get older, as you age, uh, is being just in good health, So again, this goes back to when, when we were kids, we were playing sports, we played outdoors a lot, but then more responsibilities come on and stuff like that. And we kind of forget, but and sometimes some of us come back into it by accident, and realize what we missed for so many years, and a lot of, I'm talking about, my one time for mine was even, I wound up going out and playing football with these kids. It was in a hot August day, And I'm the oldest guy out there, of course, and I'm playing with these kids. They're like teenagers and stuff that about killed me. But, at the end of the day, I mean, we played for a long time. So we played up to the time it was starting to get dark, and I can tell you what, man, I was like just pouring in sweat. I was worn out. These kids wore me out. But I had the greatest time. I felt so good. It was like so relieving, also not just relieving as far as the physicality and stuff, but just the mental, part of it, the mental health, as being like basic. I was exercising again, playing football, and it felt so good. And it started taking me back, going, you know what? I got to get back to this. I got to settle some things. Used to, I worked like 2 jobs. I even went to college. I still did my workouts because I like to lift, but still I was busy, had a lot of responsibilities and stuff like that. And I kind of got away from them and, away from those things I enjoyed the most. And that, at the end of the day, playing with them didn't cost me a thing. Didn't cost me nothing. We spin, and we kind of spin for that joy or some of that happiness and stuff like that. But again, doing that did not cost me a thing, and I had so much fun. So I started recognizing that's what I did. I got back to it, and that's why I got back. Coming in, I said, okay, I'm gonna do a competition. Jump into that, and I said, well, at first I was gonna see if I had something left. Again, got 3rd place. I was happy. After all those years, I was like, well, I still had a little something else. I wasn't really planning on competing. Well, I have been. So I got another one coming up next month. And I just, got done with one. So, but I enjoy that journey of it, and also I worked to, take care of my physical health and stuff. My dad did it until he was 85 years old. He worked out. He was always physical because he was, an old Korean vet from the Korean War. And, with that, but he stayed physical. Dad always did like sit-ups and push-ups and stuff like that. He would do that. So when I got into working out, it wasn't, of course, because of him. Like I said, it was because when I seen Arnold Schwarzenegger, that was like the motivation. Well, when I started learning routines and stuff and, putting programs together and things like that, then I started showing Dad. And he started using my weight. So I built like a whole full-blown gym in the basement of our home when I was a teenager. And so Dad would come home from work, and stuff. And once he ate dinner, he always worked out. So he'd use my weights down there. So I showed him, again, routines and things like that. Again, with working with different adults, I've also worked with kids at 14, 15 years old and stuff. I take, great pride in that and a lot of joy trying to help them because I remember how I started. And I try to teach them that to make it a lifetime. Don't just make it like a visual thing, people. Don't just look the physical part. Yeah, do we want to? Yeah, that's great. We want to look great, but not everybody wants to be in bodybuilding and stuff like that. They just want to look good, feel good, or clothes fit, whatever. But this is why I try to teach it, with anybody. It's like, don't just go for a short-term goal. Just make this your way of life. Get back, and it helps your mental health and stuff like that too. Working off stresses and stuff. Get back to good, stuff that made us happy. And I think that's a lot of what's going on, nowadays where people like depression and things like that. I was going to get into some supplementation things, but anyway, I wanted to make this introductory. So I got plenty of that, and I will get into that. But just wanted to, talk about that with, how I started and stuff. And also, like I said, helping, working with people and stuff like that. And what I mean, getting back to good is also, this is something else I learned, was getting away from thinking too much. I know that's easier said than done. Okay. What I mean thinking too much, we spend a lot of time thinking on things we cannot control. This is where we get so much anxieties too. We think too much about it. It's like getting your blood pressure up. You could probably think about something and feel your blood pressure rise, and thinking about something you can't control. It's like conjuring something sometimes that ain't even there. Drama, of course, you know how that goes. Workplace dramas or whatever, family dramas, things like that. But I mean, really, we focus, even aside from that, but we focus on a lot of things like laying in bed at night. And it's not just your mind racing and keeping you up at night, but I mean, we do we focus on a lot of things that we cannot control, which brings about anxiety, and it does make us depressed because we can't fix it. We have to train ourselves. And again, I know this is easier said than done, but I had to do it even for myself. We have to train the way we think. It's a transformation thing. Okay. Train the way you think, and just, you know what, even if it hurts a little bit, is putting those things, closing that chapter of that book and whatever you got going on anxiety wise and stuff, and say, you know what, I just can't control it. Focus on what you can control. Okay. And I'm talking about focusing on your health and stuff, your mental health and your body and things like that. Those things you can control. You know what I mean? Focus on those things and start practicing. Stay busy with it. And I'm talking about a good busy, you know, and learn to put these things aside. I had to do that. It is better. It's like meditating. You've heard of that, I'm sure, but it's like getting that little bit of Zen to come your way. I'm just saying baby steps too. You can't do it all at once. You can't do it all overnight. Just saying a little bit, you know, it's like starting a small goal. You got one big goal, work on small goals, use the small goals to get to the big goals. You know, I've worked with that. Like I said, because I'm human, I'm blue collar, you know, type person. You know, and things. So anyway, I'm just saying, try to focus, you know, on that kind of, you know, that stuff, anxieties and stuff, and work on making your health good. Because again, this affects your blood pressure and things, you know, and also you probably like even have headaches and stuff like that. But again, we're focused on so much stuff, so many things we can't control. So that's another practice. But again, baby steps taken little by little. Hey, I got a website, it's MissingLinkFitnessLLC.com. You can go on there and check me out on there. I have all of my certifications listed on there. So you can also contact me there as well. I do personal training here locally. I'm in Florida. I also do online training. So I have a platform there. So I do that. And so you can get on there and check that out. Again, so I have all kinds of like different certifications just to kind of, you know, so that way you can kind of back up my, you know, experience. You can also go on there and get linked to my LinkedIn page, not my LinkedIn page, I'm sorry, my Facebook page. So I have a follow me on Facebook. So I got a Missing Link Fitness LLC. You can probably look that up on there. I put a lot of content as much as I can on there too, like even dieting, supplementation. Also, like say, example, what kind of shoes to use for running, walking, you know, hiking, etc. I like all kinds of information. Anything that's a healthy benefit, not just in diet and supplementation, but also what takes care of your feet. You know, when you're doing walking, running, again, hiking, taking care of your joints and things like that. So anything I feel like is such a great, you know, useful help to everyday living and stuff. That's part of fitness. Okay, so even if you're working out, you're very physical, you can do this too. There's a lot of videos and things out there that show you like, you know, how to do an exercise and things like that. Anyway, I just try to keep it real, you know, and stuff, and help, you know, people that way. So I'm kind of probably the old school when it comes to doing like, you know, training and teaching a little bit there. But anyway, you can check that out. So if you will, like I say, you can subscribe, like this, you know, like this page, this content, you can subscribe. Also, I'm going to be posting some more content. Again, I like to do some holistic stuff. I try to go more into scientific research. I don't offer a fact or say something. I try to state to say, okay, you should do this, you should do that. Now, I might make some kind of like, you know, acknowledgement to it, but I always say too, you know, hey, this is something that's knowledgeable you will learn, and you can also, you know, apply it to yourself possibly. Or you can also do, I always say do more research. Like I said, there's other content on YouTube as well. There's other like, you know, doctors and things like that I'll follow, because I like to compare notes, you know, with them as well on a lot of things. But you're always learning something, you know. So that kind of gives you more of a backup. It's like peer reviewed, you know, kind of content. So that's what I look for there as well. So anyway, so check that out, and check out, like I said, check out my website. So until the next time, and thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon.